Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Biden's border negotiations mark seismic shift on immigration politics. Biden's support of Israel could come at a cost to U.S. foreign policy. Top strategist resigns from DeSantis backing super PAC with less than a month before Iowa caucuses. Maury Povich receives Lifetime Achievement Award from wife Connie Chung at Daytime Emmys. Trump quotes Putin condemning American democracy, praises autocrat Orban. Biden's border negotiations mark seismic shift on immigration politics. New York Times. President Biden is considering imposing sweeping restrictions on migration in exchange for aid to Ukraine and Israel. This is a major shift in the politics of immigration in the U.S., which is seeing growing support for border measures that were once denounced by Democrats and championed by Donald Trump. However, this change is a risk for Biden, who would be walking away from key Democratic Party principles and angering his core constituency, including progressives and young voters. Biden's support of Israel could come at a cost to U.S. foreign policy. Washington Post. The Biden administration's unwavering support for Israel's right to retaliate against Hamas, despite criticism of Israeli excesses, may damage the president's standing at home and abroad, according to officials within the administration. This could be detrimental to Biden's goal of reclaiming the mantle of global leadership and being seen as a strong and trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. The U.S. has been virtually alone in opposing Security Council resolutions calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, and this isolation is nothing new for Washington. Since the early 1970s, the U.S. has vetoed numerous resolutions critical of Israel, and its support for Israel's right to continue its siege of Gaza has set it apart from partner countries. The Biden administration has not seen any nations change their stances on unrelated matters or halt cooperation as a result of its support for Israel. However, there is concern that the Gaza conflict could have larger ramifications for U.S. leadership. Some critics argue that the U.S. is trying to get other countries to oppose Russia's actions in Ukraine while supporting Israel's actions in Gaza, which makes the argument harder to maintain. Key partners in the Middle East, such as Jordan, are deeply unhappy, potentially scuttling a path forward in building a long-term peace between Israelis and Palestinians. The Biden administration's position has also evolved since the October 7 attacks, with an increasing insistence that Israel needs to show the actions necessary to protect civilians. Biden has warned that Israel is losing international support due to its indiscriminate bombing, and he intimated that a change in Netanyahu's government might be the answer. While Biden has been listened to more than expected, it is unclear how much Netanyahu is listening to him. Biden has been urged by some regional experts and former U.S. foreign policy officials to be more bold in showing the rest of the world that he can follow words with actions in relation to the Palestinians. However, Biden has not yet reopened the U.S. consulate for Palestinians in Jerusalem or the Palestinian Liberation Office in Washington, nor has he reversed Trump's rejection of the U.S. legal opinion on the illegality of West Bank settlements. Top strategist resigns from DeSantis backing super PAC with less than a month before Iowa caucuses. Yahoo! The top strategist for the super PAC backing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' campaign for the White House resigned Saturday night. Jeff Rowe, the top advisor to Never Back Down, is the latest senior staffer to exit Never Back Down, which has been the largest outside group supporting DeSantis' candidacy. Maury Povich receives Lifetime Achievement Award from wife Connie Chung at Daytime Emmys. Associated Press. Talk show host Maury Povich has received the Daytime Emmys Lifetime Achievement honor. The 84-year-old, who retired last year, was honored by his wife, journalist Connie Chung. He began his career as a news reporter and anchor before enjoying a long run with his tabloid-style show. Povich said that Rupert Murdoch had told him to focus on winning viewers rather than awards, but he disregarded that advice and raised his Emmy Award in the air. Trump quotes Putin condemning American democracy, praises autocrat Orban. Washington Post. Donald Trump has quoted dictators Vladimir Putin and Viktor Orban to deflect from recent criminal prosecutions and criticized President Biden. Trump used Putin's criticism of the charges against him as evidence that the U.S. political system is rotten, while also aligning himself with Orban, who Trump called highly respected and the man who can save the Western world. Trump also repeated his inflammatory language against immigrants and labeled those charged with violent crimes in the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol as hostages. The speech drew criticism from Democrats, with the Democratic National Committee warning that Trump's agenda would rip away hard-won freedoms. Can a state count all its votes by hand? A North Dakota proposal aims to be the first to try. Yahoo! All election ballots would be counted by hand under a proposal that could go to North Dakota voters, potentially achieving a goal of activists across the country who distrust modern vote counting but dismaying election officials who say the change would needlessly delay vote tallies and lead to more errors. Jared Goff throws 5 TD passes as NFC North leading Lions bounce back, beat Broncos 42-17. Associated Press. The Detroit Lions dominated the Denver Broncos in a 42-17 win on Saturday night. Lions quarterback Jared Goff threw 5 touchdown passes, 3 of which went to rookie tight end Sam Laporta. The win puts the Lions in a strong position to secure a playoff spot, provided other results go their way. The Broncos, on the other hand, saw their playoff hopes take a hit with the loss. Time to open its doors wider, or will China fall into a middle technology trap? South China Morning Post. China's leading science academy has warned the country of a possible middle technology trap that could hamper its economic growth and innovation. The Chinese Academy of Sciences released a report in December that stated that China's manufacturing sector was still at the lower end of the global value chain and that its technological strength was third-tier globally. China's top leaders have now pledged to break technological containment and improve the resiliency and security of key manufacturing chains to prevent it from falling into the trap. Prominent political scientist Xing Yongnian has called for China to open its doors to attract international talent and to encourage scientific and technological innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six from the six-dimensional world, here to bring you the latest news from our dimension. Let's dive into the headlines. First up, we have President Biden's border negotiations, which mark a seismic shift in U.S. immigration politics. It seems that Biden is considering imposing restrictions on migration in exchange for aid to Ukraine and Israel. This change in stance is risky for Biden, as it goes against key Democratic Party principles and might anger his core constituency. It's a classic case of politics being a delicate balancing act. Moving on, Biden's support for Israel might come at a cost to U.S. foreign policy. The administration's unwavering support for Israel's retaliation against Hamas has raised concerns about Biden's standing at home and abroad. While the U.S. has long been a staunch supporter of Israel, this position has isolated it from other partner countries and may hinder its goal of being seen as a strong and trusted partner for peace. It's a tightrope walk for Biden, trying to navigate the complexities of the Middle East. In other news, the top strategist for the super PAC backing Ron DeSantis' White House campaign has resigned. It seems like the DeSantis camp is facing some internal challenges just a month before the Iowa caucuses. As they say, politics can be a roller coaster ride, and it seems like DeSantis' team is experiencing some twists and turns. On a lighter note, talk show host Maury Povich has received the Daytime Emmy's Lifetime Achievement honor. It's always nice to see someone recognized for their contributions, especially after a long and successful career. Povich's tabloid-style show may have raised some eyebrows, but hey, he's got the Emmy to prove his worth. Now, let's talk about Donald Trump, who is back in the spotlight, quoting dictators and criticizing President Biden. Trump's use of Putin's criticism of the charges against him to attack the U.S. political system is just classic Trump. And let's not forget his inflammatory language against immigrants, which continues to draw criticism from Democrats. It's like déjà vu all over again. In the realm of elections, a proposal in North Dakota aims to count all ballots by hand. While some distrust modern vote counting methods, election officials argue that this change would lead to delays and errors. It's an interesting proposal that showcases the ongoing debate around election integrity and the role of technology in the process. Sports fans rejoice. The Detroit Lions dominated the Denver Broncos in a 42-17 win. Lions quarterback Jared Goff had a stellar performance, throwing 5 touchdown passes. The win puts the Lions in a strong position for a playoff spot, while the Broncos' playoff hopes took a hit. It's an exciting time for football fans. Lastly, we have China's warning of a possible middle technology trap. The country's manufacturing sector is still lagging behind in terms of global value chain and technological strength. China's leaders are now determined to break free from this trap and improve their manufacturing chains. Opening their doors to international talent and encouraging innovation might just be the key to their success. And that's a wrap on today's news. Remember, my fellow interdimensional beings, these are just snippets of the events unfolding in our world. There's always more to the story, and I encourage you to share your thoughts and questions. What are your ideas on these news stories? Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.